This time I'm gonna like start it off from the beginning. Like I'm gonna start my story from like the genesis of it, because I feel like on Paradise I just took the experience that I was in and then wrote about that. But now I'm gonna take it back, take you through the journey, get you to know A-Reece better. That's what I'm gonna do on the album that I'm working on currently.
After a messy fallout with Ambitiouz Entertainment, the same label that helped catapult him into the spotlight, A-Reece found himself in unfamiliar territory. Free, independent, and completely in control of his future. No label deadlines, no executive input, no cosigns from the industry, just him, his pen, and the pressure to prove he could still rise without the machine behind him. Fans and critics alike were asking the same question. Can he really do it on his own? Would the music still hit without the backing, the budget, and the buzz of a label? Among all the questions surrounding A-Reece's next move, one thing was clear. He had just come off the high of Paradise, a debut album that was polished, confident, and critically acclaimed. Matching that level of quality would have been tough for anyone. Sophomore albums are tricky by nature. The expectations are heavier, the spotlight is brighter, and the margin for error is thin. We've seen it before. Artists like Shane Eagle stumbled with their second projects, and just like that, the hype fades. A weak follow-up can shift the whole narrative around a once promising artist. Luckily, that didn't happen with Reece. Tired of the distractions and noise of Josie, he made his way back to Pretoria, his hometown and creative safe space. There, he linked up with like-minded artists and formed the Wrecking Crew, a collective that included Flame, Mash Beats, Echo, and others. Away from the big city life, he locked in and started writing his next chapter. Released on the anniversary of Paradise, From Me to You and Only You feels like the work of a more seasoned Reece. He's experienced, sharper, and more honest, unpacking themes like youth, fame, loyalty, love, and betrayal with a new sense of clarity and purpose. The sound of From Me to You and Only You is shaped almost entirely by Mash Beats, A-Reece's longtime collaborator and creative partner. He's behind the boards on nearly 90% of the project, and his production brings a moody, textured atmosphere that gives the album its distinct feel. The beats are cloudy, sample-heavy, and full of emotion, each one bleeding into the next with smooth transitions that make the whole thing feel like a single uninterrupted train of thought.
I was looking at Drake and 40.
Hell yeah.
You know?
I could tell where y'all was studying.
Yeah, we were like tapped in.
Hell yeah.
You know, that was like, okay, nigga, we really need to do it. You know, it's just that I so happen to now start dropping my old music, and now niggas wanted to know, yo, what's Mash coming with next? But the Drake and 40 situation really inspired us big time, yeah, for sure.
While Mash Beats sets the tone, there are quiet contributions that helps round things out. NK, who might fly under the radar for most listeners, plays a subtle yet important role, landing 2 production credits and even a guest verse.
Man. Also, there's a guy called NK. Niggas don't know about this nigga, and this nigga is a god. He's crazy.
Who?
NK, man. Wherever you at, nigga, like, nigga, I need to see you. You crazy. So
that's the bad call out there. Sending it out to
Telling
you. Yo,
you.
Mash wants to see you, nigga.
NK, man, shout out to NK. You really did a lot on that project. Off the rip, a lot of songs, man. You really did a lot. So yeah, we were moving.
So yo,
Zuchi Coke Dope also steps in for a moment, bringing his own flavor to the mix, and A-Reece himself even contributes to the production, proving just how hands-on he was with the project. Zeph Beats serves as the mixing engineer, mixing and mastering every song, giving the album a polished yet intentionally crude feel. A-Reece limits the rap collaborations on the project to just the members of the Wrecking Crew, showing foresight into what they were trying to build. A-Reece was the most popular member of the group, so this was his way of introducing these guys in an effort to establish their own careers. The title, From Me to You and Only You, feels personal by design, almost like a handwritten note or a letter sealed with intention. It suggests that the album isn't meant for mass consumption in the traditional sense, but rather as a direct message to a select few. This is his message, his truth for you. No label filters, no industry expectations, just Reece speaking directly to his fans. The album opens with The Promised Land, a fitting introduction that sets the tone for everything that follows. On this track, A-Reece reintroduces himself not with braggadocio but with reflection, retracing the steps of his come up and where the journey has now landed him. It feels like a reset, not only the start of a new project but the beginning of a new chapter. The production is built around a sample of Adam Feeney's Vibes.
Went back to my mama house, cause the food she cook amazing. Said you losing weight, told her that I'm running game and bought a new
7 Days After, featuring Zoocci Coke Dope, plays like a well-earned victory lap. The sound of two artists finally pausing to acknowledge how far they've come. A-Reece raises his double cup to his success, but the celebration is laced with a dose of reality. In his verses, he confronts the shifts in energy around him. The same people who went ghost when things got rough now suddenly want to be in his corner. That awareness cuts through the high, making the moment feel sort of bittersweet. Zoocci opens with a reflective monologue detailing how some of the loudest doubters eventually became silent fans. This verse is a nod to the relentless work ethic that turned his vision into something tangible.
So get your double cup, get your lighters up. It's a celebration, baby, yeah, we going up.
Rio, featuring Flame, is a postcard from the good life, signed by two artists who fought for their place and now move like bosses. Rio leans all the way into hedonism and lifestyle brags. The chorus is filled with Latin-inspired imagery. Fuego, which is Spanish for fire, and Rio de Janeiro are used to elevate the mystery and exotic allure of this woman they are rapping about. This is one of 4 appearances Flame makes on the project, which makes sense considering how tight the chemistry was at the time. A lot of these tracks came out of sessions when the two were plotting a joint project. They were locked in. Reece even appeared on Flame's Clouds project 4 times, which I also broke down in a separate video if you want to check that out.
He was working on From Me to You, I was working on Clouds.
Which is a classic of yours. Clouds is a classic,
I
yes?
appreciate that, bro.
It's gotta be, like, that's a Flame classic.
So yeah, when we were doing both projects, because crazy enough, also, I appeared in From Me to You 4 times.
Yeah.
And he also appears in Clouds 4 times.
Oh, that's crazy. That's why for me it felt like you were heavily involved in the project because of how much you appeared. It felt like, and also how much he's appearing on your shit, it made it feel like you guys were jamming out like crazy.
I would say the reason why me and him popped out like that on each other's shit, it was just because of how much time we spent around each other. It was just that. So every single day, me and Reece were just like this. As much as there was everyone else in the house, you'd find me and him in the same spot every damn time.
Flame even interpolates Drake's hook from I'm On One and fits it into his verse.
2 white cups and I got that drink. Could be purple or could be pink, depending on how you mix that shit. Money to be got, I'ma get that shit. 2 white cups and I got that drink. Could be purple or could be pink, depending on how you mix that shit. Money we got, I'ma get that shit. Little bitch now, she fuego.
One of the highlights on the album has to be the song Pride, featuring pop and R&B singer Rolene. It dives into the wreckage of a broken relationship where communication has crumbled and ego, specifically pride, has poisoned everything. The song samples The Dreamer by Anderson .Paak.
Hey, that pride got a hold on you.
The opening verse paints Reece's conflict. He pretends he's busy and unbothered, but he's consumed by thoughts of his significant other. He's coping the only way he knows how, numbing his heartache with weed and nights out with the gang. When A-Reece raps, I'm fighting, you're silent, I'm trying, you're crying, it highlights the contrast in the relationship. One person is putting in effort, the other is emotionally withdrawing or even breaking down. Either way, there's no rhythm, no sync, just a cycle of mismatched emotional reactions. A-Reece inserts a Chris Rock excerpt from one of his comedy shows.
Who's the biggest liars? Women the biggest liars.
biggest lie. Look at you. All of you. You lie. You a fucking liar. You. You a liar. You a liar. You're all liars. All of you fucking liars.
It highlights hypocrisy and double standards when it comes to the world of dating. The skit feels reminiscent of Kanye West's song Blame Game from his Dark Twisted Fantasy album, which also housed a comedic skit from Chris Rock. It is after this where the production takes a turn. The track slows down and shifts into a dark and atmospheric soundscape. It feels like an ominous miasma has just come over the song, but Rolene manages to cut through the emotional fog with her pristine vocals, offering her side of the story.
Funny how we played for the same team, but we never wanted the same thing.
They might have been together, but their goals weren't aligned. She points out the contradiction: love with no shared vision, fake dreams, real lies, real things, fake smiles. It mirrors the chaos of their relationship. What was supposed to be real wasn't. What looked real was fake. They were putting up a front to others and maybe even themselves. Rolene flips A-Reece's earlier lines, showing that he was the one who stopped talking or started acting out. It's a lyrical mirror, and it turns the whole track into a he said, she said, with no clear winner, just loss on both ends. On My Own is a reminder that every win he's stacking now is the result of his grind, his faith, and his vision. The entire song is a nod to his independence and the ability he had to get shit out the mud himself, even after the label partnership broke down. The music video was directed by popular director Kyle White, who makes use of the lyrical lemonade aesthetic that was pretty popular back in 2017.
Did all this shit on my own. Did all this shit on my own. Did all this shit on my own. Did all this shit on my own.
About the Dough, Jody's interlude, is one of the more menacing cuts on the album. It has A-Reece and Flames spitting with a sense of conviction and hunger. While About the Dough is essentially a money-chasing anthem, it's also about chasing freedom. For them, the dough is a way out, a way up, and a reason to never go back to struggling. On the track, the rappers pay homage to an unreleased Lil Wayne song called 30 Minutes to New Orleans.
I don't see them on anybody. Got to send me by me for anybody. Yeah, I'm from uptown. Yeah, I'm from uptown. Yeah, I'm from uptown. East side. I'm like that 2 blunts at one time, and I thank God I can stay fuck one time.
I don't see them on anybody. Got to send me by me for anybody. Yeah, I'm from uptown. Yeah, I'm from uptown. East side. They get drugs one time, and I thank God I can say fuck one time.
Flame delivers one of the better verses of his career as he takes aim at MT, who he had publicly fallen out with after the group left Ambitiouz Entertainment. MT referred to himself as a ghetto hero on his album Manando, released a month earlier, and Flame delivers a stern warning to his former label mate.
Ghetto heroes fall from older to the thug, and trust me, I've seen them fall buzzing and straight to nothing. So I suggest you stop playing with your thumbs, mate. Cause you don't wanna end up in the slums, mate.
A-Reece includes an excerpt from Denzel Washington's character Alonzo Harris from the movie Training Day. Alonzo Harris was corrupt and powerful, but he knew the streets and moved with dominance. Including this clip suggests that A-Reece sees himself in that I run this shit energy.
23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of who the fuck you think you fucking with. I'm the police.
Mash Beats makes use of the sample Waystar by Rubber from the 1978 album In Motion. Until I RIP and Check sit on the same emotional spectrum but at different ends. On Check, A-Reece sounds fed up and ready to collect. It's aggressive and full of tension, like he's been burned way too many times and isn't letting shit slide anymore. He's demanding his worth, calling out the fake ones, and even making it clear he's done playing nice. But by the time we get to Until I RIP, it's a switch up. It's calmer, the grind hasn't changed, but now it's bearing fruit. He's still losing sleep chasing the dream, but the music's taking care of him now. Loyalty to T-Dub-C, looking out for family, it's all still there, just delivered with clarity and maturity. These two tracks show the emotional cost of staying true to yourself in an industry that'll test you every step of the way. Calabasas Fulfillment by A-Reece and Echo takes its name from the ultra-exclusive Los Angeles suburb of Calabasas, a place that's become shorthand for success, wealth, and celebrity status. With its gated communities and star-studded residents like Drake and the Kardashians, Calabasas is a symbol of having arrived. A-Reece steps into that imagery and flips it into an upbeat mood. The song plays like a warm summer day where luxury, lust, and lifestyle collide. Right out the gate, the intro sets a nostalgic tone. A-Reece isn't clinging to the past, but he appreciates the journey. This line feels like a quiet drink race to real moments before the excess kicks in. Echo and A-Reece bounce off each other with ease on the verses, showing the kind of chemistry that only comes from spending real time in the studio together. Zoocci even has an uncredited vocal appearance on the song, and it really shows that this album was a group effort just as much as it was a solo A-Reece album. When it comes to synergy music-wise, there really was no crew who could touch TWC at the time.
She used to hate that I'm a rapper. Yeah. Now she say my voice attractive. Yeah. When she
Just Another Song featuring Flame is really not just another song. It's my favorite from the album. Flame goes full on Super Saiyan on his section of the song, pouring out his heart into what feels like a late night confession while smoking cigarettes in a dark room. His verse is quiet heartbreak wrapped in denial. He wants this girl emotionally and physically, but he pretends he's fine with just being homies. Say what you want about Flame, man, but when he gets into that emotional bag, he washes a lot of these so-called R&B niggas. The beat then morphs into this dark, almost hollow space, like the air's been sucked out of the room. We hear uncredited reverb-heavy vocals from what sounds like Lou, setting the tone before A-Reece takes center stage. What's funny is how the energy flips. Where Flame gave us a love-drunk verse dripping with emotion, A-Reece pulls up cold, jaded, and emotionless. It feels like we've been leading up to this moment the whole album. He cuts straight to the bone. It's clear that the fallout with his old label still haunts him. That betrayal bred trust issues so deep, even genuine connections feel suspect. Every smile, handshake, and hug has him on edge. The paranoia is real, and it shaped the way he moves even now. Keep location private even with all these hoes. Keep looking behind you. That's where the dagger goes.
Hey, I do anything you want me to. Baby, I do.
Starlights featuring Ayanda Gia flips Diana Ross's iconic I'm Coming Out. The Chipmunk Soul sample feels straight out of Kanye's college dropout era, giving the song this vintage, almost celebratory feel. It opens with a round of applause and feels like Reece is really stepping into his superstar role. The vibes are more upbeat and positive, like a night drive through the city.
yeah. Starlights, all I see is starlights. Yeah. Highlights, let me show you my life.
The final song on the album is Feelings, and once again, Flame makes a contribution to the track. It was released as the first single from the album and samples Leaf by L. Varner. A-Reece and Flame go back and forth on the hook, repeating the phrase, rather catch the flu, not feelings. But the verses go totally against that. There's frustration, ego, lust, and just enough regret to make it clear that the feelings for these girls actually are there, even if neither of them wants to admit it. Production-wise, the beat sits in that woozy space, slow, hazy, and perfect for a late night high. It captures the consequences of situationships, the push, the pull, and the just make sure you call me back at the beginning and the end is like a quiet admission that maybe, just maybe, they do care.
So they made the song at night. I was passed out. So I wake up in the morning, the boys take us out for breakfast. We come back. So on our way back, these niggas are telling him and Mash are just talking about, yo, Mfana, we made this crazy ass joint yesterday, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I gotta hear this shit. Y'all niggas recording and y'all don't let me know.
Yeah.
So we get to the crib, they play this thing. I'm like, there's no ways y'all niggas just came up with this. This is nuts. And then I listened to the song. I just felt like, because at first it was still like, you see how like the first verse sounds, especially the beat.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like too
monotonous.
monotonous.
It switches when it gets to you.
Yeah, it was monotonous a lot for me. So I was like, okay, I want to add something. So, and also it kind of gave me like I don't know if you know the Wednesday interlude by Party Next Door. It's on Drake's If You're Reading This Is Too Late.
Yeah.
It gave me that vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, A-Reece already sounds like he's in that little Toronto Drake bag on this. Let me see if I can figure out how to put something Party Next Door
on it. Yeah.
You feel me? So I was like, all right, cool, Mesh, let's change the drums here, do this, blah, blah, blah. Hopped on it. Then they fucked with that. And then we listened to it. The boy was like, we need to end it with a bang, boy. That's how the lost part came in.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Me to You and Only You shows that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Even if the path there is cold, lonely, and full of detours, every song works together to paint a picture of a young artist trying to remain solid in a shaky world. It's A-Reece cracking open the diary and letting the ink bleed. Through the arrogant flexes, the heartbreak, late night paranoia, and flashes of joy, there's a steady pulse of growth, of someone choosing not to fold even when the world feels too heavy. It's not always hopeful, but it's always real. And by the time the album fades out, you're left with a feeling like he made it through, and maybe you can too. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the video where I talk about Shane Eagle's Dark Moonflower and the underrated mixtape it is. Until next time, this is the Trap House, signing out.